Hello, fire starters. Coach Shy here with your motivation word of the week. We're on the letter H this week, and our word is holistic. Holistic. And I'm going to share two definitions for the word holistic. The first is dealing with or treating the whole of something or someone and not just a part. Dealing with or treating the whole of something or someone and not just a part. And the second definition is what you're probably most familiar with as relates to healthcare, attempts to treat the whole person, including mind and body, not just the injury or disease. Attempts to treat the whole person, including mind and body, and not just the injury or disease. And the reason I included that second definition is because I look at that kind of like treating the symptom versus getting to the root of the problem and dealing holistically as a whole with where the symptoms are stemming from. So the Bible says you shall know them by their fruit. So what you see played out in your life, that's your fruit. But if you get down back to the tree, if you get back down to the roots, where is it coming from? That's why I am giving this second definition of holistic, because when we look at our lives, we want to look at our lives holistically, not just be polarized into one or two areas of our lives and essentially ignore the others. And when you are doing an assessment of your satisfaction with your life, when you are doing an assessment, a really honest assessment of where you are right now, you really need to look at it holistically and look at every different area of your life, because a lot of us are out of balance. I am notoriously out of balance as it relates to work-life balance. I've gotten better over the years, but it's still, I still have, it's still the thing that I struggle with and work at the most, is to not just work all the time. So this is about taking essentially a 360-degree view of your life and all of these different categories in your life and asking an honest question: where am I now? There's a tool that I use for new life coaching clients, and it's called the Wheel of Life. The Wheel of Life. And it's a pretty popular coaching tool. I've modified it slightly to incorporate some additional categories. But essentially what you do is, on a scale from 1 to 10, you evaluate yourself in each of these areas right now. And some things that are on here are like your finances, your relationships, your overall life satisfaction. And so you just kind of shade it in from on a scale from 1 to 10, where you find yourself right now. And when you're finished, you end up with this kind of wheel, but it's not round typically. If it would be round if everything was all the same number. But most of us are not like that. You know, you're going to be a 2 in one area, maybe an 8 in something else, and a 10 in something else. Well, if you think about what that would look like as a wheel, it's probably going to look more like spikes, right? It's probably going to look more like spokes. And but it really does give you a starting point for, what do I need to bring more in balance, or where do I need to put in the work so that I can have more satisfaction or more of this in my life. That's why it's called starting point. Where am I now? And there actually is, I'm going to include a link where you can just go and download that tool, download that worksheet, and fill it out for yourself as a starting point, just to assess, where am I now? Another thing that you might do, if you're really serious, if you're really courageous, is to do a 360-degree feedback survey. Now, there are lots of tools out there. I actually haven't developed one yet, but I do recommend them. It's a 360-degree feedback survey, and they're typically used if you are working with a coach, and like say for leadership coaching, and you want to get an honest assessment of where you need to grow as a leader. Well, you might give your coach permission to poll your team and to ask them questions about you, about what kind of leader you are, about what areas and opportunities you have for growth, your communication style, your leadership style. It's a 360-degree view of who you are as a leader. And that can be hard. It can be hard to subject yourself to that kind of scrutiny, but it also is a way to identify blind spots It's a way to really understand how effective your leadership is. And so looking holistically at who you are in a leadership capacity or in a growth and personal development capacity, bringing other people and their feedback. Now, you take the meat and you spit out the bones, obviously, but bringing other people in to provide that feedback is a holistic way of applying this concept to your development. So our word of the week this week is holistic, holistic. And here's the thing. We are supposed to have life and have it more abundantly. Jesus said that the thief only comes to kill, steal, and destroy, but I came that you might have life and have it more abundantly, or have life and have it to the fill until it overflows. So we are intended to have and enjoy our lives holistically. And if this is an area where you are out of balance, the first thing I would recommend is that you pray about it and that you ask God for wisdom and that you ask God for the grace to help you to bring your life into alignment and to bring it into balance. And then the next step might be coaching. Maybe you want to work with a coach. Maybe you want to work with me. I'd love to work with you and talk through your results on your wheel of life and kind of see where you ended up and where you might want to go. There'll be a link on the worksheet that you can click to schedule a free 30-minute assessment to see if coaching might be right for you. Either way, I hope that you have life and have it more abundantly and that you are intentional about living holistically and working at your personal and spiritual and career development holistically. So that is our word of the week. I hope that you have an amazing week, and I'll see you next Monday.